Buonasera everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Noura and welcome to my series Goodbye 2020, Welcome 2021, in which I cover everything, all products that I tested in 2020, the worst, the best in all categories, skincare, makeup and fragrances. Today is another fragrance day. And today I am going to share with you my opinion on all the new releases that I had the chance to smell in 2020. And I am going to start from the worst up to the best. I will try to do a very speed review, but we are talking about 25 fragrances, so hang on tight. First some coffee because I'm going to need it. Okay, let's start. Number 25, Gucci Bloom Profumo di Fiori. This was a big disappointment. This fragrance irritated my nose when I smelled it. I hated it. I mean, I have to admit, I do not like the whole range. And I never smelled a fragrance from Gucci that I liked. So it's a bouquet of flowers, and I love flowers, but this is not for me. Number 24, Roberto Cavalli Paradiso Found. So I'm a big fan actually of the whole range of the Paradiso one from Roberto Cavalli. So I found a Paradiso found very cheap. Not like that Roberto Cavalli has like very expensive smelling fragrances, but I mean this one was one of the worst, I have to admit. It has some greenness and some peppery notes in it that just didn't work for me. I mean the other one, Paradiso, I think Assoluto, is also with a very peppery note and spicy, but I do like I don't mind the other one, but this one was just not for me. It's not cheap, and as I said, it irritated me, so for me it's a no. Number 23, Chloe Rose Tangerine. This was a big disappointment again. And again, the Chloe fragrances I'm not a big fan of. I find them a little bit classy, yes, but a little bit meh, like nothing special. They don't speak to me. It's just too generic, too bland. I don't like them. And this fragrance is exactly what its name says. It's a rose tangerine fragrance, and this is the predominant notes in it. And this should be like, I was very excited about it because I thought maybe I will love this one because I like roses and I love citrusy notes. But this one was just not for me. It's the tangerine note in it was not very authentic, and I like fragrances where I like the citrusy notes and the zestiness is very authentic, and this is why I like Acqua di Parma and Atelier Cologne and these kind of fragrances. So this was for me a no. Number 22, as this will be very controversial. I have to go with Valentino Voce Viva. Again, a very big disappointment. First of all, you would never expect this to be the fragrance of Lady Gaga. I don't know. At least for me, I don't imagine her wearing this fragrance. The opening, I have to admit, is very nice. Actually, I was very excited and I said, oh yes, I like it. But then in the dry down, It's not like it's bad, but it's one of the fragrances where in the dry down it has something that absolutely makes me nauseous. And I found this in other very popular fragrances like Libre, Intense. A lot of very mainstream fragrances have this base that until now I don't know what it is, but it makes me very nauseous. So, but even if the whole fragrance is just meh, again, nothing special. So yeah, for me it's a no. Let me drink another sip, because the next one is even more controversial. My next pick, because I now forgot which number are we now, so the next one is unfortunately Armani My Way. And a very fun fact, my ever first YouTube video I filmed was a review of Armani My Way, but I never uploaded it because it was my first try and I was so shy and I couldn't even hear myself when I was editing the video. And yes, anyway, just a side note. And it's unfortunate because it's actually the name of my channel. I like the bottle, actually. It reminds me of the private line from Giorgio Armani, which I am a big fan. The scent, however, is a big disappointment. It's again a very mass-pleasing scent. I love a lot of mainstream scents and I don't care, but this one was just not for me. Especially the tuberose and orange blossom. It's like a bomb of tuberose and orange blossom to my nose, and it's so sharp and powerful that again it makes me nauseous. So again, I can't say that the fragrance is bad, but it's not for me. Let's leave it at that. And again, I can't see how this fragrance represents like the idea my way and like independent women, and I don't know. It's I don't know. It just is not what I would associate with this kind of a concept. Anyway, again. So, Giorgio, unfortunately for me, Giorgio Armani My Way is a no. Next, and this I have a sample here, and I sprayed it. Okay, just a side note, a disclaimer. I really tested all of these fragrances. So just to show you, you see this? This is all the fragrances that I tried. So I do like that. It's just my hobby. So when I go in any shop that has fragrances, I test at least 4 or 5 fragrances on paper. And I write the name of them on the paper so I don't mix them, and put them in different places so they don't mix with each other. And then I return home and continue to smell them and write my notes. The one I like, I write the name, and next time if I go to another shop or the same shop, I test it on my skin this time. And the same procedure, and while I test these on the skin, I test others on paper. And when I return home, I write everything here. And the one that makes the cut, which I like on paper and on skin, is the one that goes on my wish list, and I wait for a good deal to get it. So this is like just a disclaimer for you all. So these are all tested fragrances. Okay, this one I have actually a sample from, and this one is a Bulgari Omnia Golden Citrine. Okay, again, like this should be a very like up my alley kind of fragrance, because you would imagine it a very nice citrusy fragrance, but again, a fragrance that I don't like the whole range. The Omnia range I don't like. I never smelled any of the range that I liked, and this one is no exception. It smells cheap to me. And this predominant note in here, it's not a citrusy fragrance, by the way. It's just the color gives you the impression, but it's not. This is a Ylang Ylang fragrance, and it smells cheap to my nose, so definitely a no. Next will be a Viktor and Rolf fragrance, and this is Viktor and Rolf Dew, or Flowerbomb Dew. I don't remember the name exactly. I'm not a big fan of the Flowerbomb, actually. Not that I dislike it, but somehow, sometimes I try it and I like it, and sometimes I try it and I dislike it, so I don't know my feeling about this fragrance. Dew, however, is like a very diluted version of Flowerbomb, which would be actually pleasant for me, because my problem with Flowerbomb that sometimes it's just too much to me. But it's just, I don't know how to describe it. So Flowerbomb, the original one, is very sweet. It's a sweet floral scent. This one is a very like a watery floral scent. It's like if you take like a real flower and it's just, you just picked the flowers from the garden, so it has a little bit of, again, like the moisture in it. This is how you smell it. Not like it's a very natural fragrance, no, but it's just how I can describe it. It's not bad, but I find Viktor and Rolf in general overhyped, overpriced, and yeah, if I get it maybe 50% off, I will consider it. I'm not sure, but for now it's a no. Next is a fragrance that I did actually a review of, and this is Carolina Herrera Good Girl Supreme, and I will leave in the eye up my video where I did a comparison between like the Carolina Herrera original one, Good Girl original one, and the Supreme one. So the Supreme one is a very, as I described it before, it's a very girly, outgoing sister of Carolina Herrera, the original one. Not so complex and not with a lot of notes like the original one, but still it's a nice scent. Again, mass-pleasing scent. It's more versatile, if you know what I mean, than the original one. Yeah, and again, a fragrance that it's just not very interesting to me. So for me, it's again a no. Next is Narciso Rodriguez Ambree, and again a very big disappointment for me, because when I heard that Narciso Rodriguez is coming out with an amber fragrance, I was very excited. But it's not bad, but it's just, it lacks character. It's amber with Narciso Rodriguez DNA that is in almost all of his fragrance. So again, a no. Next is Juliet Has a Gun Lipstick Fever. I'm not sure that this is like a release of 2020, but if not, I mean it's a recent one. This is not, I can't say that it's a disappointment, it's exactly what it says. So this is a lipsticky fragrance. It's a very vintage lipstick smell. I'm not a big fan of this kind of smell, I mean. So if you like this kind of smell, you would love this one, because it's a very, very good representation. So for me, it's a no. Next is a fragrance that I actually like. and this is Miss Dior Rose and Roses. Lovely scent. It's like a fresh rosy fragrance. Amazing, I like it. My husband even smelled it and loved it. Problem: a disastrous longevity and performance. This lasted less than an hour on my skin. What to say? This is like a shame, really. Like, if it's not for the longevity and performance, this fragrance would have been really top on my list. Unfortunately, it's not, for the lack of performance and longevity. Again, I didn't smell every scent from Miss Dior, but generally speaking, what I smelled, what I remember, never a fan, real fan. Not bad, but it's just not my type, except of this one I really liked, but yeah, it is what it is. Next is Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Love is Love, and this is I think every year they come out with a limited edition flanker of light blue, and this year is light blue with added powderiness and sweetness, and without like this aquatic feeling that light blue gives you. So it's not so fresh and zesty and aquatic like the original one. It still has the same DNA, but with added powderiness and sweetness. I like it, but it's one of the fragrances that I debate if I should buy it or not, because it's not like I love it. So again, this is one of the fragrances that if it goes on sale and is like 50% off, I think I will buy it. But for now, it's just a maybe. I feel like I'm in a marathon. Oh, let's continue. Libre Intense, or the intense version of Libre. By the way, Libre is the scent of the day for me today. Libre Intense. Okay, I never was a fan of Libre, the original one, and suddenly I smelled it again this year and I'm the biggest fan. Don't know why, but anyway, this is what happened. So Libre Intense, it's like the original one with added orchid and less lavender. So if you were irritated by like the masculinity of the lavender in the original one, I think you will love this one, because it's almost the same DNA, just an added orchid note. So it's more warm and cozy, more wintry like, and it has still lavender, but it's not so predominant like in the original one. So this fragrance, I love the opening a lot. The opening is stunning actually. The dry down, however, has like the same thing that Voce Viva has, like has this smell that I find in a lot of fragrances, and it makes me nauseous. And it's a pity, because actually I like the scent, except for like this note. So it's for me a no, but I think, and generally speaking, it's a yes or maybe. Stay tuned, because I will do a full review of this fragrance and compare it with Libre original one, and so coming very soon. Next is a fragrance that I want to love so much, but unfortunately, yeah, it is what it is. This is Aqua Allegoria from Guerlain, and this is the new release Granada Salvia. So the Aqua Allegoria line is from Guerlain, is very famous for its very fresh, not so long lasting fragrances. So these are your perfect summer fragrances, and generally speaking, and they have a lot of flankers. Some are limited edition, some are like in the permanent collection. And this year they came out with 2 new fragrances, and I have here the samples, the Granada Salvia and the Orange Soleil. So I'm talking now about Granada Salvia, and with all the line you always know what you're going to smell from the title. So this is your pomegranate smell with some sage note. It's actually pretty decent and I do like it. Problem: it's very faint and delicate. I can't say that it's not long lasting. It's just the fragrance itself on me is very faint and delicate. I can hardly smell it, and I'm anyway not like in love with it, so it's just a no for me just for that reason. But it's a very decent fragrance, in generally speaking. Next I have the new release from Versace, and this is Versace Dylan Turquoise. So this is a flanker of Versace Dylan Blue, and this is your more summery fragrance. It came out actually pretty late, I think, because of COVID and the whole situation. It came out actually, I think, beginning autumn. So I think it didn't have the chance to really for people to test it and talk about it. I really struggled with this fragrance because I like it and I don't like it. So this is your fresh summery fragrance. It has some reminiscence of the original one, so like the original DNA is somehow here, but I can't tell you which notes exactly. So this is again your fresh, so it has your like a lemon and zesty notes in the opening, and it has like the added note of guayaba. I know how you call it, guava, I think. It's a fruit. I know the fruit because it's we have it in Egypt, and I think also in South America they have this fruit. It's just a little bit different. It's not so sweet like the one we have, and it has a different color. Anyway, returning to the fragrance. So it was very promising to me because I was very interested in smelling like a fragrance with a guava note in it, but you don't get it very much. It's not bad. Again, I don't know what to say about it. It's not bad. It's actually nice, but I'm not going to buy it. Let's leave it at that. Next is a flanker of La Nuit Trésor and new La Nuit Trésor Nude. Love the bottle. I love the bottle of the whole range. It's just beautiful. And this one is pretty different than like the original La Nuit Trésor. This has coconut and vanilla, and it has the most beautiful opening, I have to admit. I love the opening. Dry down for me is a little bit too much. So I'm not like the biggest fan of coconut when it's not so in your face. The same with vanilla. And this has a very predominant coconut and vanilla mix in the base, which makes it a little bit too much for my taste. So it's not like it makes me nauseous, but it's like borderline nauseous. So this is a fragrance that I actually like. So what I will do is just try to work with it, so wear it more often and in different days, and see if I get used to it or maybe find like a better combination with it, because I actually like it. And I actually think that this is one of the best releases of designer fragrances last year. So this is La Narciso Nude. Next is Aquarigoria Orange Soleil fragrance. This is actually a very good fragrance. I have nothing to say about it. Its predominant note is blood orange. The only problem with this fragrance that I already found my holy grail blood orange fragrance, and I will feature it in a video very soon. It was a blind buy, but a very successful blind buy. So coming very soon is a video of my very first blind buys, and so this is not for me, because the other one is pretty authentic blood orange. This is nice, but it's nothing to compare with the other one. So this is the only problem with this. Otherwise it's a very pleasant, nice, fresh, orangey fragrance. Next is a new fragrance from Salvatore Ferragamo, from the Signorina line, Signorina Ribelle. This is your girly, fruity fragrance. The only problem with this fragrance for me is that it's a little bit too girly for my taste. And yeah, it's just your fruity, sweet vanilla, and it has a very interesting note of ice cream. So it has ice cream, coconut and vanilla. But as you see in this fragrance, the coconut and vanilla doesn't disturb me so much like in the nude one. But in the new one it was really too much. Anyway, so Signorina Ribelle is actually a pretty nice fragrance, just not for my age. Next is Hugo Boss Alive. And this is the first fragrance of Hugo Boss that I actually like. This is fruity, a little bit sweet, with a woody undertone. It's very pleasant and nice. And actually it is already on my wish list, but it's somehow managed always like... I always prefer other fragrances to it, so this is an indication of how much I like it. I like it actually, but it's not so... but it's not like love at first sniff. Yeah, nothing to say about it. It's very pleasant and nice. This is what I can say about it. Next, I will talk about actually a whole range. And the next range, let's call it, is Jo Malone for Zara Emotion Collection, I think it's called. And I'm a big fan. My favorite from the range is Vetiver Pamplemousse. It's very nice, fresh fragrances that reminds me a lot of like Acqua di Parma and Acqua Liguria type of fragrance. Then Sunrise, the next one I like is Amalfi Sunray, and this is this smells very similar, I think, to Neroli Portofino from Tom Ford. So it's just again your fresh summer fragrance. The next one I like is a Wood Ebony, and this is exactly how it is called. It's a very woody fragrance. So this is the only one in the range that I find a little bit suitable for also winter time, more like colder weather time. Next, three were very difficult to decide which one goes first. Since like one of the fragrances I don't have a sample and I smelled it only once, I will put it on number 3 just because I didn't have really the time to test it. and this is the new Dolce Gabbana, the only one intense. I smelled it in the store on paper and I was in love. I loved it. But I smelled it just before the lockdown, so I didn't have like the chance to test it on my skin. So this is why I put this fragrance in number 3. But it's actually a love at first sniff, I have to say to you. This is your white floral with coconut note in it, but this is like the coconut that doesn't bother me. So I find it very beautiful, a very beautiful fragrance. Worth the hype, by the way. So on the second place I will have to go with Idole L'Intense. So I'm just a big fan of the whole like I love the original one and I love the intense one even more. So for me this is even better. I know a lot of people didn't like the original one, but if you don't like the original one, still give a chance to this one, because I find the original one was very rosy. This one is more like jasmine. And again, stay tuned, because I'm going to do a full review and comparison between the two. Actually, I already filmed the video, but I will upload it very soon when I finish with this series. So this is your jasmine fragrance. I do love it. I didn't have the chance to wear it because it's quite a recent purchase. But I can't wait for the winter to end, and coming spring I think I will use it a lot. So for me the best fragrance release of 2020 is Givenchy L'Interdit Eau de Parfum Intense. This is absolutely lovely. This is your floral, deep, mysterious, edgy fragrance. This is suitable for winter time. This is not your summer fragrance, not even, I think, spring even fragrance. This is a typical winter cold weather fragrance, and this has a very interesting note of sesame. I don't know if it's this what makes this fragrance so unique, but reading the notes you would say it's nothing special, but to my nose this is a very unique scent, and on my skin it's absolutely beautiful. On my skin I get this beautiful vetiver and patchouli mixed with a little bit of vanilla, not too much, and flowers, and I love it. So maybe you get scared because patchouli is a note that not everyone loves. I don't love it and I don't hate it. My problem with patchouli is that sometimes it works beautifully on my skin and I love it, and sometimes it just doesn't. But this one, it works beautifully in my skin. This has amazing longevity and sillage. Very nice, very good performance. So this was everything for the new releases in 2020 that I had the chance to smell. By the way, sorry for the camera, it's not focusing. I'm like trying to figure out how to fix this problem. Since I got the ring light, I don't know why the camera keeps me out of focus, and I will try to fix this problem and see why this happens, so sorry. And this was everything. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumb up so I know you like this kind of content. And please consider subscribing to my channel, and please check out all my other videos on this series, Goodbye 2020, welcome 2021. I will leave them linked down below and see you next time. Ciao!